So the next thing we'll discuss is the Wi-Fi package through Toll Brother Homes. This is approaching an enterprise level networking system. And I feel it's one of the more important things that we cover through the technology process of the home build. Just for the fact that network and Wi-Fi is pretty much the backbone of the home these days, right? Everything we interact with in the home on a daily basis, for the most part, is connected to the network now, right? Whether that's music, working from home, the washer and dryer being notified, camera systems, I mean, the list goes on. And the demand for network and bandwidth seems to be ever increasing, right? The amount of stuff that comes out year after year in the home that wants to sit on the network always increases. So it's very important to have a strong network throughout the house. Every floor plan for Toll Brothers has been professionally heat mapped, so we've used software to locate these access points, as you can see one here in this loft space, but also throughout the entirety of the floor plan. So there's multiple access points in this home that are designed specifically for this floor plan to give us superb coverage throughout the space. And that's going to be one of the biggest differences you're going to find from a high-end networking system like this compared to over-the-counter solutions, tri-band mesh systems, boosters, things of that nature. The biggest advantage of these systems is these access points are very, very powerful, right? So they can really push that coverage footprint considerably further. If you're familiar with a 2.4 or 5 gigahertz band, most networks always have a 2, 4, and a 5, even a 6 now. These are actually Wi-Fi 6. The 2.4 has always been able to go pretty far for coverage, but it's very, very slow, right? The faster speeds are the 5 and the 6, but the higher up in frequency you go, the lesser distance they can typically travel. When you have these high-end access points like this, we can really push that broadcast ability of that not only 2.4, but the 5 and the 6. So the idea is we get considerably better coverage throughout the space. We don't have dead spots, and our faster frequencies, if you will, can reach a lot further and cover the entire home. The other big part is what's called throughput, so the amount of data that this can transfer back and forth, right? So when we have homes now that have, 50 devices, 100 devices on the network, all vying for communication, the throughput is actually what allows the data to be transferred back and forth. So you can think of it as maybe your over-the-counter devices is maybe a 2-lane highway, right, where information is being passed back and forth one by one with the devices, whereas these types of systems is more like a 4-lane highway. We can have a whole lot more data transfer and information between the devices and the network. The other big piece of it is it can handle a lot of clients, a lot of devices, right? With most over-the-counter kind of do-it-yourself platforms that are out there, the more and more devices you load on the network year after year, eventually that kind of slows and bogs down the network, right? With these systems, this can accommodate up to 500 devices very easily and not have an issue. So hopefully future-proof for some amount of time to come. The other nice thing with these platforms is they're pretty smart. They have an auto healing or self reboot feature. So the cool thing with that, right, is the components for this system, right? So if our internet's down, the first go-to is always to reboot the modem, reboot the switch, kind of reboot those network devices. Well, those are all hidden away nicely downstairs in the basement, either in the structured wiring enclosure or the provided AV rack, depending on what you've chosen. But in the event of an internet outage, right, the first step is to reboot those devices. So we'd have to walk 2 floors down, get in there, reboot it, turn it back on. Well, the nice thing with this system is we program the system to contact Google, Bing, and Yahoo every 30 seconds. If it can't reach all three, it knows it's probably an issue with the internet, not with the server. It automatically reboots your devices for you, and it'll fix internet outages that you may never have known you had. The other really nice portion of this is this entire network, all of this hardware sits on a platform called Oversee. What that platform allows us to do as the integrator is we can help you anytime with your network. We provide free phone support when this network is selected. So if there's an issue with your network, we can remote in, we can send commands, we can reboot devices without having to roll a truck to the home, right? So because the network has become so imperative to daily use work, right? It doesn't doesn't serve us very well to tell you we have a 2 to 4 hour service window 2 days from now to troubleshoot your network. So we can remote in and fix a lot of the issues remotely. And that's something that we do offer with that Toll Brothers package. So it is a very robust network, I think the big takeaways is it's considerably better coverage, faster throughput speeds, can handle a ton of clients, a rock solid backbone for the technology in the home.